and welcome to another episode of the NeverImage Radio Podcast. I'm Chris Dinardo.
I'm Pat Bruno.
All right, so today, this is probably the first time since we've been doing this show where I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about.
Oh, well, we talked yesterday a little bit. We wanted to mention something about
you had something on your mind you wanted to bring up.
Some underrated bands.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess in the sense of like underrated, meaning
maybe bands that should have been more popular than they were.
Yeah, and popularity is a funny term. So I think the word I would rather use is recognition for like musical talent, or recognition for songs, or recognition for the shows, or the consistency on the albums, all that stuff. So I have two bands, one today and one of yesteryear. Really? Not too long ago, but long enough, The band of today that I think is underrated, and I think, and it's not in a musical sense, in a sense that nobody knows much about them.
Okay.
And they kind of dismiss them on first glance, is band-maid.
Wow.
Now, anybody who watches them musically thinks one of two things. This is the greatest band I've ever seen, or there's a catch. Something's weird, because it's almost too good to be true.
Right.
And I personally think that they are all like virtuoso talent.
Oh, of course.
And I think each one of them brings something to the table skill set wise.
Well, how long have they been together?
2015, 2016.
All right. Well, I can see where you're going with it. They haven't been around that long to really build anything. Maybe still they will get their due. Still, they still got a lot of time to go. I mean, they're all young, I guess, but that's a good one. When
you watch them, every single one of their songs is different.
Right.
Every single one of those songs are original yet familiar. You know what I mean by that?
Right.
There's something very original about the way they write songs, the way they play, where they pick their virtuoso spots in the songs, inside the riffs.
First time I saw them, I had to text you. That's me, I don't do that.
Right.
That was something that I saw and I got right off the bat. I was like, wow, I had to pass it on to you. And believe it or not, I didn't think you were going to like it.
Did you think I wasn't going to like it because it was too like poppy looking, the maid costumes, that type of thing?
Probably.
Each member of that band is amazing, has their own identity, and it's a throwback to like super groups from the 70s to me. Right. Like how many bands that have come out in the past like 20, 30 years, do you even care who all the band members are?
Right.
What their names are?
Right.
They have that in that band.
Right.
The bass player, Misa, is amazing.
All of them are, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, the drummer's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, these are, all of them.
They're great players.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm embarrassed to even play guitar after watching.
Yeah, and they make it look so easy, so effortless, and they're having a good time doing it.
People should check them out. That's a band that should be pushed, and people should at least look at it. Just check it out.
So I'm trying to think, why haven't they taken off? Is it because of not having songs in English?
That could be one.
Is it because of the costumes?
I like the costumes.
Because it's the music that matters. In other words, what I'm saying is, if they didn't have the great songs, and they didn't have the talent, and they didn't have the ability to be a band,
right?
Who cares about what they're wearing?
I don't know.
It's irrelevant.
I don't know how they're being pushed, but I mean, if you look at some of their videos, there is million views on some of those videos. Some people have checked them out.
Right.
I don't know if that translates to actually, record sales or whatever, popularity, or what I'm saying. But if you look at some of their stuff, there is some videos that are, people have checked them out. So maybe they need a little bit more time to really break out.
And I guess another thing too, which is great about them, forget the mainstream. Like as you develop fans, the fans get into what you're doing, and I think that's what's going on with band-maid now. The hardcore fans, they're real fans, are into them for the right reasons.
A good friend of mine is a Green Day fan, and he knew them early on. So when they kind of exploded on was that Doogie album, whatever, a lot of people didn't like it because they became mainstream. They kind of act like them when they were, nobody knew who they were.
I'm hit or miss on that because bands could change.
Sure.
When that happens,
but when you get a taste of it, you got to go full.
But a lot of great bands, that's not going to hurt a great band.
Right.
That they're just going to be, hey, great, more fans.
Right.
We get to be ourselves.
Sure.
But, you don't know who's buying your contract, who's making you change, who's making you say this, try this, do that, and then the thing changes. So I just think that, talent-wise, they're the most talented band I've heard in a long time. And the more I listen to them, the more I'm like, these girls are going to be all-time greats. And, they already got a few albums deep, and every single one, I haven't heard a shit song by them yet.
Right.
And I can't say that about like my favorite band, Dinosaur Jr. Right. I can't say that about a lot of bands, and they're all different. The attitudes are different in the songs. So I think, I don't want to say that they're underrated because I think people who listen to them give them their respect musically. I mean in a known way,
right, that
they should be bigger and known more. So, for example, I got another band too, but I'll hold off on that. Who do you think is underrated that could be all time as well?
Well, I want to go with this one. Thin Lizzy.
Okay.
I think Thin Lizzy should be a bigger band than they were. I mean, nobody talks about Thin Lizzy. When I got into them, back in the day, I didn't care about Thin Lizzy. I only knew like Boys and Back in Town and Whiskey and Jarro and a few other songs, but I thought that's what they were until I got into their music, and they're an amazing band, Thin Lizzy. They really are. And I don't know. I think they were popular at the time, I believe. I mean, I didn't pay attention to them, so I didn't really remember if they were huge. I don't think they were huge, but they were popular, and they had those big hits. But overall, I think they should have been more a popular band, I think. I mean, you hear anybody talk about Thin Lizzy? Really, never,
Other than musicians?
Yeah.
No.
No.
And I should be more into Thin Lizzy than I am, because every time I hear them, I'm like...
Exactly. I mean...
This is good shit.
I got into stuff like I didn't even know the music is actually better than the stuff they had on the radio. You know what I'm saying? They got some killer tunes, and I got into, all the earlier 80s stuff.
A lot of great hooks. A lot of good verses, and his voice is different. Yeah, it was good.
And they were just straight up rock. You know what I'm saying? They weren't, they mixed a little metal here and there, but they were more rock. And
production-wise, too, they were just like solid.
It was good for that time. And it took me the longest time to really...
Why?
Because I never cared. I thought it was just the Boys Are Back in Town and, the other hit. And, you heard that so many times. I thought, it was like rock and roll all night.
It's gonna be a
jailbreak. Yeah. They had those few songs and he thought that was it. But, dude, they're a really good band. And listen, I know they got lots of fans, too. I mean, they were popular. I'm sure they're still popular today in a way. But they just didn't were... What do you think they consider underrated? I mean, I don't know. See, this is tough for me to really pick underrated bands because I got a lot of bands, and I think these bands that I like are supposed to be where they're at. Even though I might think they could be underrated.
Right.
So,
you
can't have everybody on top.
Yeah.
So you gotta have to have some bands on the bottom.
Like you love Rainbow, but you understand why everybody's not into Rainbow.
Sure. They stay where they're at. You know what I'm saying?
That's the same thing with me with Dinosaur Jr.
Sure, I know that. It just you have to be at that level, and I think Thin Lizzy should have been. I mean, they were popular at the time, I believe, in the early 80s, but...
70s?
Well, yeah, they started... I think they were really more popular in the early 80s, though, than they were in the 70s. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not a huge Thin Lizzy fan, but I do like a lot of their stuff. And like I said, it took me a long time to really...
Are you going to be covering a Thin Lizzy song?
There was a couple songs I do like I want to cover. There was the one song I showed you. It was called Hollywood.
Okay.
That's a really fun song. There's two names for it. It was Hollywood and I can't remember the other. There's like two parts of the name to that song, but I gotta show you that song again. It was a really good tune. Anyway, so I'll go with Thin Lizzy. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but great band.
Absolutely great
I mean,
band.
It's just, but it's a band when you talk music, nobody talks Thin Lizzy. So maybe I just throw it out there because when we talk music, we never bring up Thin Lizzy,
And now which is funny because my number one underrated band in the history of music actually covered a Thin Lizzy song. They covered Boys Are Back in Town.
What was that? Everybody covered that song one time somewhere.
Well, they covered it, and they also covered Ozzy. They also covered Black Sabbath.
Oh man, that's a good one. I got to applaud you on that one. That's great. Go ahead. I know where you're going with it. Beautiful. You're right. Totally right. Go ahead.
The most underrated band in the history of music is the Cardigans out of Sweden.
Nice.
Like
and you turned me on to those really good stuff.
The musicianship, the songwriting, the voice, the character. Each album is different. See, what happened to them is that everybody here heard the Love Fool song.
Right.
And
it was like that one hit wonder type of band.
And dismissed them as some like pop
you're right.
thing.
I don't know her name.
Nina Pearson.
Beautiful voice. I mean, she can sing, hands down.
Her lyrics are amazing. The musicianship is amazing. Each album is produced differently, different keys, different tones, different singing styles, different instruments. One is an acoustic country album almost. Yep. The other one is like a glossy electronic album. Yep. Then you have that album that Love Fool is on is such a good album that you don't even care. They do a cover of Iron Man on that album.
I remember.
Which is amazing.
Yep. Well, you got to explain how they do the covers, though. I mean, they play it like...
Yeah.
It's like... I can't even explain it.
It's almost like an evil carnival.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so good. Different. And
a guitar player. He has that jazz feel to his playing.
Yeah, and he's a huge Kiss fan and a huge Misfits fan.
Yeah. And you would not think it.
No.
At all.
Not in their stuff.
No, not at all.
And as I was saying about that album with Love Fool, the first band on the moon, you listen to this great album. Song after song is great. And then all of a sudden Love Fool comes on. And when you hear it in the context of the album, it makes that song so much better than it is. Because other than that, it's just, the 90s nostalgia. Here's Love Fool. Blah, blah, blah. They have so many other songs that are amazing. I wish they would come and tour America. Right. They also do a barbershop quartet version of Mr. Crowley.
Interesting.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, listen to that.
So to me, they are amazing. If they could see this, please come to New York, the area, anywhere in the East Coast of the United States, and I will go there and I will see that. So there's so many people here that haven't seen them that would love to. In my opinion, currently, band-maid is the most underrated known band, and the greatest unknown band of all time to me is the Cardigans.
That was good, bro. You're right. They're really a good band. More people should know them.
All right, so we just did the underrated bands, and I hope you have something to do because Star Wars actually came out with like a new trailer thing that I want to just rip to shreds. So
really? I'll give it a chance. Oh, I know you didn't like the last one, so I could see you were going. Listen, it was going to fade out anyway because I'm losing more interest as it's going myself.
It's like, who cares? They screwed up so bad. Dude, we're talking Star Wars. We're not talking about like the Muppets or fucking Superman. How do you think
they screw up? I mean, they got all these professional people overlooking stuff and seeing if it's going to sell right or it's done right. It's just not.
You have a bunch of people raised on Disney, MTV, pop, crappy characters, Twilight, all this stuff, right? So it's dumbed down a lot of the presentation of heroes and characters.
Right.
It simplifies everything. So when you take, even though Star Wars is a simple story, the characters are a bit complex and different. They dumbed down the characters and they made the story even dumber. And I can't get into it.
Right.
When you have Han Solo, Princess Leia, and Luke Skywalker in your hands as a writer,
Right.
and you don't put one scene together with the three of them,
Yeah.
that means their idea was, let's use the old characters to show the new characters to transfer this to another generation.
Yeah.
And they screwed up. Because you could have done both. There's no excuse not to do both. How you have Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia and not put them in scenes together to construct this garbage story about this one girl.
That's
Okay?
That's what's coming to, yeah.
And if you noticed, even in The Last Jedi, every woman there is this great, smart, high intelligent warrior, and every man is a stumbling, bumbling idiot.
Right.
What are they doing?
Well,
Like it just doesn't make sense. They turn Han Solo into an idiot. They turned Luke Skywalker into the most awful. You took the best character, arguably, in the history of film,
well, they killed
and
them off,
turned him into an. It was so demoralizing.
But they killed him off. Did he actually die at the end of that?
Yes.
They did.
So you didn't even see it.
Yeah, of course I did see it.
He vanishes at the end of the movie.
Right.
They didn't even have to do that. Have him sit on the end of the fucking rock
sometimes
and
you
be
can-
tired. And that's it. They got to go out like that.
Yeah.
So don't even get me started about Star Wars because we can do 2.5 hours
You
on
didn't
it.
answer the question.
What?
You gonna go see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
Yeah,
to.
I know you do.
I have to. And I'm not.
But when I went to go see the last Avengers there, I couldn't wait to get out of the movie theater.
I couldn't either. I thought it was
Dude,
horrible.
I'm sitting there, and Star Wars might be like that. I never been to a movie theater, and I just couldn't wait till the movie to be over.
Yeah.
That movie just lost me.
You have the Avengers, arguably the greatest comic bunch of heroes
but
together.
the one before that was brilliant.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, that I wanted to watch more of that.
Yeah.
And then just from that one to that one, I don't know the name titles, but it bored the shit out of me.
And-
now, one fight scene at the end was great.
An Endgame
Yeah,
or Infinity Wars?
Endgames.
Okay.
The last scene was great.
I didn't like it. You want to know why?
Why?
Because they were just cutting up screen time for people in stupid ways. It wasn't a battle. It was like, where's this person? Oh, there they are. Ha, her.
Well, they
And
needed
there's that
something to
person.
make the movie.
I
I mean, they had nothing else besides that.
You know? And here's the thing. Captain Marvel couldn't show up 2 minutes before and
Yeah, I
save
know.
everybody.
You're right.
Like she's got to, like whatever, like they're fighting a war, the biggest war in the universe at the time, and she can't make it there to help.
So
I mean-
so a couple of characters got actually killed off, right? Iron Man is over with. You believe he's done after that? I mean, I don't know how they're
I
gonna
don't
play it off.
care. They got me to the point where
Captain America.
I
wanted
don't
to
care.
walk out what happened to Captain America. I was just like,
I don't care.
I sat there like,
And you
dude,
know
is he
what?
like
What's the
90 years old?
But what's the theme in that movie with Endgame?
I don't even remember, dude. I wanted to
Everybody wanted to be normal. I just want to be a dad and raise my family. I
Right.
just want to be a father. I want a normal life.
right.
You know why? Because the dad is the real hero of Earth, and the father and the brr. Okay, that might be true, but I'm watching superheroes.
Right.
I don't
You
want
wanna
to
know about that. I know.
I don't care. I want.
Watch another movie if you want to see
I
that.
want to. Yeah. Exactly. If I'm watching my superheroes go, I want them to stop evil. I want to be in suspense, and I want to enjoy myself. I don't want friggin' Avengers to be a Lifetime movie. It was horrible.
It was bad.
And once again, all the females are all empowered, know what to do.
Yeah, but I talked to-
all the females make decisions. Scarlett Johansson made the decision to die nobly.
Right.
You know, like Captain Marvel, it's like, okay, I got other things to do in the
Exactly.
universe,
But
but if I get there, I'll help you out.
I talked to people who watched it.
Thor's a drunk.
I know. That was bad.
You know, it's like, what
that
do
was
they
bad.
This,
I totally forgot about that. He was
but
all
do you
fat.
see what they did to the guys?
They did it. It made him look stupid.
And they're doing that.
Well, Thor was bad in that. They made him look really dumb.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden he goes to another planet and he's crying over his mom. You could do this, son. I don't know if I can.
But there's people.
What is this?
I talked to people that watched it and they loved it. I'm sitting there arguing, what you really loved about it?
How old were they?
Oh, in the 30s, 40s.
Because I think that, again, Disney, these are kids that grew up watching MTV Pop Land. They grew up watching, the Mickey Mouse Club. They grew up watching the Disney Channel. They grew up being programmed to that, where we kind of, even when we were younger, we're like, this is stupid. I don't want to watch this shit. Put on the Amityville Horror.
Exactly.
And we were like, 8? And it was like, come on, I want to see
Exorcist.
evil. I want The Exorcist. I don't want this stuff.
I wanted to be scared. Dude.
Yeah.
The Omen.
Yeah.
Whew.
That's exactly what I mean. So a lot of these kids were kind of sugar-coated into this real safe story structure. And you see it with Star Wars, you see it with Endgame, and it's horrible. And now Disney owns Star Wars, Disney owns Marvel, and they ruin them both. If I'm at Disney and I have Star Wars and we're doing The Force Awakens, and I get the script and I'm in there, the first scene I'm going to do is a flashback at the Return of the Jedi. Okay? And they just blew up Jabba the Hutt's palace. Right? Different camera angles. They're escaping. We're throwing it back right from that. That's how the movie starts. Right? And then you see them drive up and the thing explodes. But the camera stays there. And then the camera goes to the pit.
Right.
Okay? And you see the pit. And then all of a sudden, you see a rocket shoot out and it's Boba Fett coming out of the pit. And that's it. You bring Boba Fett back and you start like this whole thing and you create a different story.
Dude, we got to take it for what it is, dude. It just...
Crap writing.
I mean, it's going to be big, of course, as usual, but we'll see when we go. We'll review it when it comes out. Give it a fair shot.
All right, so...
Listen, I know you didn't like the last one, so you know the next one's not going to be good.
I'm not even excited. I loved Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was great. Did you see that?
Of course.
So in Rogue One, for me, was the best thing they've done since they got it.
Right.
I didn't even want to see Solo.
You didn't see Solo?
Hell no. No desire.
Really?
No desire to see Han Solo at all.
I enjoyed it.
No,
I really did. No, I thought it was written well.
You're probably one of the few people I've known who said that.
Really?
Because even like a lot of people who are like Disney freaks who like, they were like, okay, it wasn't
I enjoyed
that good.
it. And even the ending, I wanted to see what happens. And I guess they're going to make another one. Just, they kind of left it like,
How, when you were watching that movie,
yeah.
were you buying Han Solo not being Harrison Ford? When in the movie were you like, okay, it makes sense to me? Because I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can watch somebody be Han Solo. Because when you think about it, when that movie was done, 3 years later, he's blowing up the Death Star.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Well, listen, you can't bring Harrison Ford back to look young. I mean, so you have to do it that way, too.
If I'm Disney and I got that checkbook and I know that I'm making a Han Solo movie, I'm grabbing Harrison Ford, okay? And right off the bat...
Make him look younger.
I'm making him narrate. I'm making him flashback. Yeah. I'm starting the movie with him talking someplace and then explaining the story.
Maybe they should hire you. No, I'm being serious. I mean, you got some good ideas there. I mean, why not?
How do you not start that movie with Han Solo, Harrison Ford in a cantina talking to somebody and they're like, I heard you did this. Right. What's the story on that?
Sure.
Here's the story. Yeah. And you get him talking and you fade out of his voice and then into the film.
Okay.
But they don't want to pay anybody. They want to do this all new characters, new toys, new all this stuff.
I'm sure it's a big budget movie. I'm sure they paid some money into that.
They're not smart, So
I liked it. Would I watch another one? Yes, I would, just to see what happens towards the end. So
I will never watch The Last Jedi ever again as long as I live. I have a huge film collection. And all the Star Wars movies are there, including Force Awakens.
Okay.
The Last Jedi will never be in my house.
Why?
It just will never. I don't care. I don't like that director at all. There's something wrong. I honestly think when they got together to do that movie, it's a troll movie.
Yeah, but you don't have it in your collection?
No, they're trolling Star Wars fans with that movie. You can't intentionally shoot Luke Skywalker to be that awful unless you're sitting there writing exciting and going, how about we do this? Let's humiliate him and do this. You know, they trolled Star Wars fans with that movie. That director trolled people.
Right.
How are you going to have you have Luke Skywalker in your film, Princess Leia in your film, okay, doing The Last Jedi, access to Billy D. Williams, just all the Star Wars in the world. You're going to waste 40 minutes with some no-name character trying to free some horses on a damn... Who cares? This is a Star Wars movie. Why are we wasting 40 minutes on a character because she's got this need to free horses? What the... I don't care what your political alignment is. Story-wise, if that person was sitting across from me at the table during those creative meetings, I would have flipped the fucking table. Yeah. Are you nuts? And then we got Luke Skywalker milking a damn mammal or whatever. What? I mean, they trolled Star Wars fans. They couldn't have done that so intentionally because I guarantee you, Kathleen Kennedy or Ryan Johnson or whoever it was sitting in a meeting thinking about ways to piss off Star Wars fans because that's how that movie's written. And that's why people got pissed off. Okay? Forget about the political stuff. I don't mind empowered women. I want to see women kicking ass. Right. I got no beef with that. But when you demoralize men on purpose just to strengthen women, you know, or even the opposite, when you demoralize women to strengthen men in a character show.
Right. Why do you seem to do that a lot?
I mean, my greatest movie of all time. John Carpenter had examples of a damsel in distress and a woman who was kicking ass. Here's the movie right here. You know?
You're right.
And you work it. So, yeah, it's just better if we don't discuss Star Wars because
we just did.
Yeah, so
we'll let you go on for a good another 20 minutes.
What else you got for me today? You're hosting today. I'm not hosting anymore. Yeah,
you're doing a good job. No, believe me, I understand what you're saying. When you know, I'm a Planet of the Apes fan, and if you look at the first two Planet of the Apes are done well, but if you look at the next three, it's like embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Like they actually escape from the planet and they actually land in, you know, on Earth, and
no disrespect to Planet of the Apes though, but it's writing, not Star Wars with Disney.
I'm just saying, but the writing got so bad after. I thought the first two were like really good,
like legendary films,
right? And then when you saw the third, the fourth, and the fifth was like you can't even find it,
dude. That's like Jaws.
Yeah, I know.
Right. We got to do a show of sequels, like canon movies.
You're right.
We'll do that next.
We will. Because Jaws, it got worse and worse and worse, and then you start like watching it in 3D and shit. It's like, what the fuck am I watching here? I went to go see that in 3D. With fucking colored glasses and shit. You see like a piece of leg floating in the water.
I remember.
Oh man, how bad was that?
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, listen, Jaws, first one.
Second one too.
Yeah, I mean,
even though it's the same movie, kind of.
It is, and it's, when you're a kid and at that time, when you went in the ocean, you kind of that's not that.
Piranha scared me more than Jaws.
Yeah, because piranha fucking ate you, bro, and they just kind of like
that piranha movie was way scarier. The way they did it, like dude, they did the feeding frenzy underwater.
Dude, it's awesome.
They would put meat in the water with underwater cameras and let piranhas go do their thing and film it.
I know.
Crazy.
It looks scary.
What do you got over there?
Oh,
I see it would return to the.
Well, like, was it 3 weeks ago?
I seen the return of the black bag, and I have nothing to do with it.
So you gave me one 3 weeks ago, and I kind of, here, it's a present for you.
Same principle. Just pick stuff out.
That's it. Just talk whatever pops out.
I hope, for the sake of the viewers, that your handwriting is better than mine. It's not the handwriting that's going to get me. That's what that look is. It's the spelling. Okay. All right, so here we go. Here's the first one. Oh, now I know how you feel. Oh! This is a good one.
What does it say?
Don Morocco.
Ooh.
The Magnificent Morocco.
Ooh, one of your heroes.
Going back and watching wrestling now, because I'm one of those people who think current wrestling is absolutely awful.
Right. I agree with you 100%. I like the old school. I go on YouTube.
And I'm not even a hater for like new school stuff.
Right.
I want to like it.
Sure.
I would love to turn on wrestling and be blown away like I was when I was younger.
Yep.
It's because of the lack of mic skills.
Yep.
It's the production style. Like you see, they have wrestlers in the ring, and then wrestlers come down the aisle with a microphone and they go back and forth.
Sure. They're bait right there.
It's the dumbest thing ever. Back in the day, when you were wrestling somebody,
That's it. You had it.
You didn't talk to that wrestler.
No.
If you notice, all the promos were done on the side of the ring with Gordon Soley or Vince McMahon, or in the closed ring, almost like it was like boxing.
Right. Well, how great was Morocco on the mic?
Let me get to that.
Fucking brilliant. Spitting all over the place.
Now that I go back and look, he could be the most talented wrestler. Mic-wise.
Mic-wise, right.
Ring-wise.
Yep. Don Morocco was great.
He was in major feuds.
Sure. Pedro Morales, fucking Tito Santana.
He took the fall for might have been the highlight pinnacle of wrestling.
Yeah, of course. Jimmy Snuka. Yeah, off the cage.
That could be one of the greatest moments in wrestling history.
It was at the time.
Yeah.
Sure. Nobody done nothing like that. Snuka doing that leap off the cage. And Morocco took the splash. You know?
He won that match.
He did.
But,
people don't remember that.
No, he Snuka throws him back in the ring and then starts beating his ass even more.
Well, I think Snuka headbutts him and Morocco falls out of the ring.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how he gets. When I watched it, when the first time I watched it as a kid, I didn't know what happened. I didn't realize that actually Morocco won the match.
Right.
I just remember him throwing him back into the cage and fucking splashing his ass.
And when I saw him when I was younger, I hated him.
Who's that?
Morocco.
Yeah, I did too. He's funnier now, I guess, since we're older. We didn't realize it at the time, his mic skills, how good they were. And if you look back at him now.
He is a legend.
It is.
His mic skills were better than Ric Flair's. And Ric Flair was the reason why I want to say that is because Ric Flair was the same thing over and over.
Right. Yeah, you're right. His shit was all set up with the limousine riding and
you didn't know what the hell you were getting with Morocco.
Was right on
he
the
just
spot.
wung it.
You did.
And he would say things he would go into.
How about all the spitting he did? He was spitting everywhere when he's fucking spazzing out.
There's a couple of Don Morocco promos that are great. And the thing about Ric Flair is that I love, because my favorite promo with Ric Flair, when he tells, when he goes down to Memphis and Jerry Lawler's trying to get a match with him.
Yeah.
And Jerry Lawler's like, come on, go wrestle me. Don't wrestle this person you got there. This guy's no good. Wrestle me. And he goes, Jerry Lawler, let me explain something to you. These people here would come see me wrestle a broom.
That's Flair, bro. He's great.
Oh, I love Ric Flair.
Always his watches, his fucking snake boots.
But talking about Don Morocco, looking back now, he's the best. In ring, he does every single move.
Sure.
His matches were different. In other words, if he had to get into a ring with Pedro Morales, because Pedro Morales was just
one
punch.
right hand. That's it. One big right.
The left.
Boom.
And Pedro Morales would get his ass kicked and then come back, start slamming on the mat, and come back. Whoever Snuka had his match.
Sure.
Greg Valentine. No, he didn't wrestle Valentine. Backlund.
Of course.
Anybody he got into the ring with, he wrestled their match and made them better.
You're right.
Where Ric Flair has that one match.
Oh, it's the same exact match.
Yeah. Ric Flair can only do that one match.
It's the same exact match.
So that's why going back looking at Morocco, all these different things, different suplexes he does, different, things off the ropes,
Interesting.
His promos, he always was good.
All right.
I love Don Morocco, probably my favorite wrestler of all time.
All right. Go ahead. We got a bunch of them. So.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to grab this one because it's small. See what this is.
One.
This is pretty good.
Yeah. Start off with Don Morocco. How great is that?
Cool. Worst Kiss record. Worst. It's obvious.
Which one?
I mean, am I counting? Because I'm just going to say Monster or Sonic Boom.
Okay, take those out.
Okay.
Because they were probably the worst.
Makeup, non-makeup.
Yeah, put non-makeup in there too.
The worst Kiss album ever made is Crazy Nights.
Okay.
Not even close.
Really? You think Animalize is better?
I think Animalize is better because I could listen to Heaven's on Fire and I can listen to I've Had Enough and
song.
I can listen to Thrills in the Night.
The opening riff of Into the Fire.
So for those two songs,
okay.
So Animalized, yeah, those other songs like Burn Bitch Burn,
Bad.
and like it's just such awful filler. But
Bad.
those three songs are great.
They are.
So I can't fade that. Now when you look at Crazy Nights, the production horrible.
Bad.
The songwriting horrible.
I can't even remember the songs.
The guitar.
What was the next hit after Crazy Nights? What they push? I don't even remember.
You know it. Out of love, there's nobody around. I don't mind Reason to Live.
I know. I like that song. You're right. That's a good one. How bad was the video editing? I think when they
blew up that little car.
Yeah, I think they actually lit
a match.
A match to a picture. I think it was actually a picture of the car. You have to look into that. I think they burned the picture. It looks like the car's on fire.
It's crazy. I mean, I do like Reason to Live, but that should be a one-off. I did not like Crazy Nights.
No, that was
bad. Did not like No.
Oh, that was bad.
Oh my God. What the hell else is on that record?
I can't remember on that record, dude.
He has a decent vocal performance on I'll Fight Hell to Hold You.
Oh yeah. Okay.
What's
Gene's tune on there?
Gene's tune.
You don't have a song on there, Gene? That was his.
They did No on that tour.
Yeah, but I think there's a better song on there. No. What's that song? Love Slap in the Face? The hell is that?
That's off Hot in the Shade. I love that song.
Yeah,
that's actually.
That was Hot in the Shade, right?
Yeah, I like Gene's vocal performance in that song. Yeah. See, that's why I can't hate on Hot in the Shade because I think Hide Your Heart's a great tune.
Sure.
I think Betrayed's a great tune. Right. I think that there's a lot of great stuff, even though that album's like all filler and horribly produced. It's Crazy Nights to me.
But didn't they have a lot of songs on it? Where they hit like 15 songs on that album?
Yeah. 18.
Was that many?
Wait, no, 15. Was it?
I'm sure. I think it was like their longest.
Yeah, we talked about that in the other show, how that thing should be condensed. But
okay, shake your bag up, baby.
Yeah. Crazy Nights, horrible record.
I will agree.
Worst makeup album?
Well, you know what I go with.
Well, you're going to go with The Elder. Does Creatures count as a makeup album?
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm going to put Creatures as the worst makeup album.
Really?
Yeah. Why does everybody go nuts over Creatures?
I liked it. It's a heavy album. They got some good songs on it.
Yeah, but you got stuff like Keep Me Coming.
I like that song. I'm sorry.
I can't do it. It's like, I can't. Like, right. Like that's like you put on that song when there's a room full of people. It's like they'll look at you like you ready for the dude, really? Whoa! Look at this.
I'm fucking writing a book there on that one.
Who would win in a death match, Jason or Michael Myers? Is it in water?
No, it's straight on land, bro.
Okay, on land. I'm going to say Michael Myers.
Really?
Yeah. One, because I'm a John Carpenter fan. Okay. So I go with him.
Do you think he was tougher than Jason, though? I think Jason got... Yeah, I think he had a little bit of extra strength.
He had that superhuman stuff.
Right.
But I think Michael Myers is more evil than Jason. Because I think if Jason, if you threw on a sweater and pretended you were his mother, you could stop him in his tracks.
Right. And what you couldn't.
Well, Michael Myers would like...
Well, Michael Myers kept going after the same person, so...
Yeah, but I'm just going to go with Michael Myers on that.
Okay, that's fair, sure.
Brute strength. Did you like the Freddy vs. Jason movie?
I did.
I did too. I think it could have been better because I think they got a little zany comic booky with it.
They did, but it worked.
It worked. How else are you going to put those people together in a movie?
I was shocked how good it was.
And
I thought I was going to hate it. I thought it was going to be like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I enjoyed it.
Once they pulled me in, I was in. Here's why I think they should do another couple movies like that. Because at this point now, it's more about the character, not the story.
Exactly.
So I think it'll be like throwback to like Frankenstein versus the Wolfman,
like a
Dracula.
Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Get them all in there.
Yeah. So
in a ring.
Yeah. I think that would be great. I think that would be good.
What happened?
Does Yngwie Malmsteen suck? No.
Okay.
No. And here's why. He can't write songs.
Right.
He can't really play rhythm. The stuff he did with the guitar for that time.
Sure. I agree with you 100%.
I can't physically play it. And I've been playing guitar since I was 3, and I consider myself to be able to do a lot of things with the instrument.
He's a tough guitar player because I got into an
I can't do what he does.
No. And I don't want to neither.
I don't want to.
I don't want to sound like him neither.
Right.
I think guitar players that sound like Malmsteen sound like shit.
Right.
I really just nothing going on in the guitar. I had an argument with a guy about that not too long. He was a Malmsteen fan. I was like, I had to say something. I said, he was telling me how Malmsteen is the greatest guitar player. I'm like, I was like, dude, take it easy. And I'm like, what makes him the greatest guitar player?
Yeah, he's not the greatest guitar player.
No, but you go with a Malmsteen fan, they'll fight with you like, that's it and that's that.
It's the Dennis Rodman theory.
What's up?
In other words, you can't say Dennis Rodman was the greatest basketball player ever, but you can say he was the greatest rebounder ever.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So if you want to talk...
I respect Malmsteen. I think what he did was, innovated at the time. But if you listen to one record, you listen to all of them when he's soloing.
And I got to be honest, if I'm like... If it's not like the videos ever
he doesn't suck,
on.
But he stinks.
No, I don't. He's Yngwie Malmsteen. He stays in his lane. He does what he does.
Yeah.
Like, you know what you're going to get.
Okay.
And so am I a fan? Am I a fan? No.
I know that.
Do I want to play like him? No. I don't like it. But if I see the light tonight comes on, I'm going to leave it.
But that's a good song, though.
Well, that
is a good song.
So.
That's good. No, I respect that. It's good. I don't like him myself neither. I mean, if you were going to have an argument with guitar players, Malmsteen's like...
Okay, say if I was like putting...
I'm not even going to mention his name besides he's not that good to me.
So say if we had a super group, right? And Yngwie Malmsteen was in it, and you had a drummer, bass player, whatever.
Right.
You're going to let Yngwie do his thing, like on a solo. You're going to give him that, but that's it. It's not like, hey, Yngwie, back me up on this rhythm here and counter what the drummer's doing and kind of like support the pocket so we get a backbeat going so people could shake their hips.
Do you remember they did
He'd be like, what do you say? I don't know.
Do you remember they did that G3 thing with Steve Vai, Satriani, and Malmsteen? They all played on the same show that at the end they did that guitar battle.
Did he?
He just sounded out of place, though.
He did?
Yeah, because he was doing all that Malmsteen stuff. It just didn't seem to fit right with the other two guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't feel him.
Am I a fan? No. Does he suck? No. Because at what he does, if you're going to say, is he the greatest guitar player ever? Not even close.
Agree.
Not even close.
I agree.
Can't say he sucks, though. This is fun. It's much better when I could read it. I'm like, well, you couldn't read my stuff. Here's another fucking... You write novels.
Oh.
I just write that one word and you gotta go.
What, you 59?
If Kiss asked you to put on the spaceman makeup, would you do it? Absolutely not. I don't care how much money. I don't care. I would never, ever, ever do it. If they wanted to give me my own character and some platform high top so I could be a little taller and join them on stage, sure, I would do it. I would have my own character. I would bring something new to the table. I would enjoy it. But if I had to go up and mimic myself as Ace Frehley or anybody else, absolutely not. No way. No way. There's not enough money in the world they could give me.
Oh.
They could, Chris, we'll give you $1 million a show to go play Ace Frehley. I would not do it.
No.
I would not do it.
Okay. I respect that. Nice.
A lot of people are listening. They're like, "You're full of shit, dude.
Yeah,
you would do it." I can see the look in your face. You're like, "Dude, you're full of shit. You would
I'll
do
do
it."
it for friggin' like $1,000 a night.
Yeah,
No, that's cool. You respect that. That's your
I
man.
couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Listen, you're right. You probably tell him give him my own character.
And they would say, "Oh, and go get me a coffee and
Right.
thanks for coming."
Yeah, fuck them.
So I wouldn't.
Nice.
And that's why I haven't been to a Kiss show since 2000. I don't need to see that. Back in Black. I'm assuming we're talking about the AC/DC album. Okay. Great album. One AC/DC's best. Production-wise, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It was a perfect album at the perfect time. And considering what they went through as a band,
Yeah, sure. Losing the singer.
to come back, because most times when and they
got on that album. They got even bigger than they were.
were popular.
Yeah.
They were popular with Bon Scott
Sure.
and had a lot of fans. It wasn't like they were in
I
obscurity.
think they were ready to break. That's the thing.
They
They were ready to break even.
They would have broke with Bon Scott.
I know.
So for them, that's the most extraordinary and successful lead singer change in the history of music.
Yes, 100%.
Because that album,
Oh, look, it's obvious because they got how popular they got it.
Right.
When that album came out. I mean, everybody owned a copy of that. I mean, if you didn't have a copy of that album, I mean,
dude,
it's like,
if you go down to
Jesus
my
Christ.
vinyl
I think I
cabinet,
owned like 3 or 4 versions over the years.
I think I have 3 copies of the vinyl.
Right.
Is because it's like, not for any reason, just because
What was the first song you heard? You remember? Was it Back in Black?
it probably shook me all night long.
Was it?
From the radio.
Yeah, maybe. That's great. Start to finish, dude.
Shoot the Thrill is just, that's
Dude.
my jam.
It's been like, I can't even how many years I actually played that album throughout. It's time for me to play that album one time throughout. It's
Yeah.
been like probably over 10 years.
I need a glass of
15.
whiskey. I need some good,
Right.
like Johnny Walker Blue.
One night we're going to together.
Oh, man.
We'll do it together. All right, bro. Shake it up, baby.
Great album.
Yes, it is.
These are good.
Yeah, I mean, stood up late last night. I had nothing else to do.
Saturday Night Fever.
Ooh.
The film or the soundtrack?
The movie.
The film. Watching it now, it's one of those films that gets better with age.
Yep.
Because if you could get past the whole Guido disco guy and recognize the character in Tony Manero's story
Sure.
and how he wants to get out of there and all his friends are stupid, it's what all of us had went through in this area.
I think the music ties in with everything at the time and the era. It was perfect.
Even the culture things, like how he was, a lot of people don't realize that New York City and New Jersey and, the way it is, and New York, they're all distinct different places. Like Staten Island is way different than Brooklyn. Brooklyn's way different than Manhattan. North Jersey's different than Long Island. Like, the Bronx is way different than Manhattan. Like Queens is just different. South Jersey is different.
Right.
Like, so all these places around here are different. So, and when you understand that, you understand the story of even going to the different boroughs.
Right.
Even meeting people, going out. It was like going to another planet.
Yeah.
Like when you hang out in Jersey, like when you were younger and you went out to Brooklyn for the first time, it was almost like you were like, oh my God, Try to get people from the city to come to New Jersey. They act like it might as well be in like Georgia, the way they act about it. But the story is great. The character is great.
Oh,
it
is.
Watching it recently.
Oh, you did watch it recently?
I watched it a couple years ago and I just couldn't turn it off.
Yeah. Oh, if it's on, I'm watching it.
And
I don't own a copy of it.
That might be a Blu-ray I have to get.
You actually have to have that
because it's
sure.
Yeah, it's just an interesting movie. It's a little bit, it's darker than what you remember it. Like when you watch it, there was like a lot of like crazy stuff happening in that movie.
Well, they had that one big fight scene, right?
Yeah, like different stuff. And you could just tell that he's trying to be a better person and his parents are holding him back. His friends are holding him back.
Yep.
Like, you know, did you like the sequel?
No.
Staying Alive? No. Not bad.
I didn't like it.
I mean, if you could get past the Frank Stallone songs, you're good.
Yeah. Well.
Everybody uses everybody. That's what she said to him, the English girl who was in soap operas. Wasn't bad. Wasn't the worst sequel in the world.
Oh, it's a tight one there.
Oh my God, what is this?
Fucking glued it together.
Jesus. Hair metal. What do you want me to say?
I don't know.
What's your question? Do I like it? Do I not like it?
What did you think about the whole thing?
The dumbest version of rock and roll in the history of mankind.
I agree.
It was meatheads posing with music.
Yep.
You could take the guys that were in hair metal bands, right? And they were like the bozos of every generation. And they just happened to be making music in the 80s.
Yep.
And they were all about posing. They were all about status. They were all about image.
Of course. The image is more than more important than their playing.
Yeah. And it was just a superficial, gross use of the stage.
Sure. But you know what? To be fairness, there was a few decent, I guess, if you want to call it hair metal bands, I guess.
But here, those decent bands would have been great in a dark room.
Right.
Okay? Like,
I mean, we can name them. I mean, I think Skid Row will be.
I'm not putting them as a hair metal band.
No, but
just because they had long hair, that doesn't make somebody a hair metal band.
More to makeup
I think that the
Poison. Considered.
Let me say that they are the only successful hair, if you want to call it that,
right?
Because they owned it. You know,
what do you mean they owned it?
They owned it. It fit them. In other words,
we're talking about Poison.
Yeah, the whole, I don't want to say hair metal, but that whole thing, that whole stereotype.
It was all glam metal. You can say glam.
They did it better. Their songs were better. Sure. They looked better. Right. I did not feel I was watching a bunch of posers. Right. I felt like I was watching they did it perfect. Right. Everyone else.
And we think some other
sucked.
bands that just kind of got labeled into that, maybe like say like a Queensryche or.
It's their own fault.
Yeah,
it's their own fault because when they were going to these creative meetings and their fucking record companies and management.
You go to the early Queensryche, you're like Operation Mindcrime, and they were really good rock bands.
Everybody else was chasing status.
Yeah, why it worked? That didn't work, but they had the power rock song. And then they had to do that power ballad. Mm-hmm. Everybody had that power. It was like a formula. You had your rock song, and you went with that big power ballad. Everybody
but that's not necessarily. The ballads weren't hair metal. For me, hair metal was that.
Well, they all had them.
Dude, I had to deal with the same thing of being in bands all my life. You go, I don't have any tattoos. I don't have long hair. I don't have an image. My friggin' record company's called NeverImage. So I had to deal with people tattooed, black, whatever the stereotype was at the time,
right,
looking at me like, why is this guy just coming out of the crowd and playing?
Yeah.
And then when I played, they were like, sure. Okay. But that's the thing. Yeah. It's not about image. And I think in the 80s during hair metal, they were more concerned about image than music. That's why I love when Nirvana came out. I loved when Pearl Jam came out, just to see a bunch of guys in jeans with messy hair just playing power chords. Yeah. That's what it's about. Bringing a little
crate amp with them.
That was the thing about, like my bands that we were in. It wasn't like we got out of a limo and there was girls singing. We were hanging out with our friends at these shows, and then all of a sudden it was our time to play. We would get out, walk from where we were, tune our instruments, and go.
I was going to ask you something. If there was no MTV, do you think that kind of style of music would have eventually came? No, it wouldn't have, because it was more for the television of the image. MTV was so big. I mean, everybody got to see, so it was more of an image more than the music.
Right. And
even some of those early pop bands from the new wave era and stuff, they were all.
I mean, that's getting back to like band-maid. Like I can listen to them in a dark room and still love their music. Right. I don't have to know what the hell they look like.
They look like, exactly.
I could care less.
Good. That was good.
Yeah. Do you believe in UFOs? Yes. I mean,
Really?
you got to be completely... If you think that how vast and how huge this universe is, and it's even bigger than we even know how big it is. Like, we have no concept of what it really is or how huge it is. If we think we're the only intelligent species in this entire universe or any other universe anywhere ever through the history of time, you're crazy.
Good answer.
You know, so there's got to be something.
I mean, there is no proof, but I agree with you. I think there's got to be something, you know, some kind of
Has
living
to be.
species.
Now, I know you're a big UFO guy. Do you want to keep talking about this?
No.
Or no? Because you could go for hours.
I know I can go for hours, but, you know, which, listen, I don't think there was any proof for anything. No, I'm just saying, I feel the same way about you. There's no, you know, no proof of anything, but everybody likes to think maybe there is, you know what I'm saying? And possibly, you never know, one day we might be attacked. But if you got abducted by an alien, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you tell anybody? Because you know everybody would think you're crazy. I mean, even if you came up to say, Pat, listen, last night, I was on an alien spaceship. I mean, I'd be like, dude, you know, roll me up. What I mean, serious. I mean, you know, even though you're my friend, I'm gonna have to think you're a little, you know, you're cracking up a little bit. So that's a tough situation to even talk about it.
I never even thought about it that way.
Because if I would have told you that, what would you think? You would tell me just lay off the shit. You really would. I said, dude, you gotta lay off the crap. It's hard to believe somebody. That's the whole thing. When someone tells a story like that, it's hard to believe.
Knowing you've never bullshit me in your entire life.
Right. I will have to believe you.
Right.
I mean, I think I will have to because I don't know. That's a tough. If someone told me that, I might like.
Maybe I trust you and I trust certain friends, but
Yeah.
I would believe it.
Wow.
That's weird.
It is.
All right, so that's that.
Good. I got to learn a lot today from you.
And so that's pretty much it. So
Good job, bro.
what else you want to talk about? Anything?
That's it, man.
All right, we're good for today, and thanks for joining us. This has been another episode of NeverImage Radio Podcast. I'm Chris Dinardo.
Pat Bruno.
Take care.